On a chilly autumn evening in 1976, the bright lights of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson glowed across America. The audience laughed as Johnny Carson delivered his opening monologue with perfect timing, but backstage, another legend waited quietly in the shadows. It was John Wayne. The Duke looked older than people remembered. His shoulders were still broad, but illness had slowed the once powerful cowboy who had conquered Hollywood for decades. Crew members whispered respectfully as he adjusted his hat and stared at the stage curtain. He had been on Carson's show many times before, but tonight felt different. Johnny walked backstage during a commercial break and saw Wayne sitting alone. "Duke," Carson said softly, "you okay?" Wayne smiled faintly, just thinking about how fast the ride goes. For a moment, neither man spoke. The studio manager counted down, 30 seconds. The audience erupted when Johnny returned to his desk. "My next guest," Carson announced with a grin, "is not only a movie star, he's American history. Please welcome John Wayne." The curtain opened. The crowd stood instantly, cheering louder than they had all night. Wayne walked slowly to the chair beside Carson, tipping his cowboy hat. Johnny noticed the actor's hand trembling slightly as he sat down. "You still getting into trouble, Duke?" Carson joked. Wayne chuckled, "Only when directors tell me to run." The audience laughed, but Carson could see something deeper in Wayne's eyes. Tonight wasn't about promoting a movie. It was about a man facing time itself. For the next several minutes, they talked about old westerns, horses, and Hollywood legends long gone. Wayne told stories about filming in brutal deserts and joking with stuntmen. The audience loved every second. But then Carson asked a quieter question. "John, after all these years, what matters most to you now?" The studio suddenly became still. Wayne looked down at his hands before answering. "You spend your whole life trying to be tough," he said slowly. "Then one day you realize the strongest thing a man can do is tell people he loves them." The audience fell silent. Johnny Carson, famous for comedy and quick wit, didn't interrupt. He simply nodded. Wayne continued, "I've played heroes my whole life. Cowboys, soldiers, fighters. But when the cameras stop, you just hope you were a good husband, a good father, a good friend." A woman in the audience wiped tears from her eyes. Johnny leaned closer. "You know something, Duke? A lot of people grew up believing heroes were real because of you." Wayne smiled sadly. "Well, maybe heroes are just people trying their best." For a brief second, Carson looked emotional himself. He reached over and shook Wayne's hand while the audience applauded softly. Then Wayne surprised everyone. He pulled a folded letter from his jacket pocket. "What's that?" Carson asked. Wayne grinned. "Something I wrote before coming here." Johnny raised an eyebrow. "You wrote homework for my show." The audience laughed. Wayne unfolded the paper carefully. "If I ever disappear from these screens," he read, "I want people to remember this. Life is hard, but it's also beautiful. Don't waste it being angry. Ride the trail while you can." By now, the studio was completely silent except for Wayne's voice. When he finished, Carson stood up first and began clapping. The audience followed with a standing ovation that seemed to last forever. Wayne tried to smile through watery eyes. As the cameras faded to commercial, Johnny quietly leaned toward him and whispered, "Thank you, Duke." Years later, many people would still remember that night, not because of jokes or movie promotions, but because, for one unforgettable moment, America saw the real man behind the cowboy legend.